Hey there, I'm literally back again. Look at that. No glasses, but same me. Okay, so while that one's cooking, you may see things on my bench that don't belong to it. Can reassure you that is for the other video. Not for me for now, even though I probably feel like I need it. Okay, our next video is going to be old-fashioned orange cake. So this is what we need for this one. This one's going to take a bit longer to get ready. So let's go. Now, the recipe wants me to use a round cake pan. Most people know I'm team square pan. However, today I'm going to do a round cake pan. So grab a round cake pan, grease it and line it. And we are going to set the oven to 180 degrees. So let's get that ready. So to grease and line a pan, grab some margarine. Sadly, this is all margarine really gets used for in my house. Probably need to start cooking some more cakes or something, I don't know. Grease the inside. Now, because this is one of those awesome cake pans where you can lift the base out, and this one has been in my household for a very long time. Not like the one that I had a fight with the other day that just warped. I can actually still use this one. So I like things. Sometimes it's great to buy cheap. But at the end of the day, if you're going to have a yelling match at a cake pan because you can't open it, it's probably not worth buying it. Yeah, it was lucky I didn't have a cake in it. Oh, look at that. We're finally at the end of it. I'm sure I did buy another one. Ah, what a relief I did. Okay. So, because this one, the base lifts out, I'm just going to line the base. Easiest way to do that is to literally just pop your paper on top. This way, we're not going to get it, like when I do square cake pan, little lines in it, because it'll have a perfect inside. Then all you do is you just cut it to size. And then pop that back in. Okay. I believe we need the mixer for this one. Yes, we are going. So grab your electric mixer ready for me, please. And we'll be right back. Okay. Beautiful. Set that aside for when we're ready for it. Okay, so when you start to cook a lot, you'll start to have things where you'll say, oh, that's my butter jug, or that's my handy pink spatula, or that's the knife I love to use when I cut butter. So get to know your kitchen utensils really well. Use them by name, use them by whatever. I like this one because for some reason every time I melt butter in it, it just, even though you wash it, it just never seems to feel like the butter's out of it. Therefore, it's my butter jug. Can't use it to measure anything anyway, so weighing out my butter, we want 125 grams of butter or margarine. Can use margarine, however, I always prefer butter in a cake. Find it to be better. Unless the recipe says use margarine, I will always go for butter. Team butter. So we want 125 grams. And we're going to soften this. So to soften it, obviously, we're going to put it in the microwave. If you live in a hotter climate than I do. It's humid in the Blue Mountains today, but I can venture to say when I go down to Penrith later, it's going to be even hotter down there. So you can almost leave it out. because we want it softened, we don't want it melted. There's a difference between softened and melted. 126 grams. I am not going to stress over 1 gram, mainly because it'll probably get stuck in the jug anyway. All right, so I put my butter back in my butter dish. That's salted and unsalted butter in there at the moment. I believe I'm doing something with unsalted butter tomorrow. Spoiler alert. All right, so pop that in the microwave for 30 seconds, that butter. While that's going on, grab a cup that you can measure 3/4 of a cup of caster sugar with. This one's always the easiest one for me. I'm going to remove the scales and put the butter away. If you can have everything ready in advance, go for it. I normally do try to, as you know, if you've been watching long enough. However, sometimes when my brain is like it is now, I just go with the flow. Alright, so we want 3/4 of a cup of caster sugar. Alright, perfect. Butter and caster sugar in the bowl. In she goes. Let's grab that butter out. You'll probably need a spoon to help with the butter. See what I mean? We want it softened, not melted. In she goes. Alright, set that to a low speed, and that will get going. Turn it on at the wall. Alright, we're away. Now, unfortunately, I've got this problem with my mixer where they don't reach the bottom, and it is so annoying. What I might do is I might try the other hooks and see if they actually reach. They are supposed to be for doing dough, but I have a feeling that they're probably going to reach the bottom, and therefore I might be able to do it without being so lazy. I'm feeling a bit lazy today, so I should. Alright, can't promise this is going to work. I think it reaches just a little bit lower. Alright, so while that's feeding away, I'm going to grab the cup that I like to use to do my eggs into, and I'll be back. Okay, good news, that decided to actually look like it was mixing. So in goes 1 egg. In goes 2 eggs. In goes 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla essence. I do have 1/4 teaspoon, but it's a pain to get to, so I'm just going to use 1/2 teaspoon. One tablespoon of finely grated orange rind. my orange does not want to zest. It better pull its finger out of its bum. I'm not impressed. If I don't have orange zest, I don't have orange cake. Alright, let's assume that's it. Close enough. Okay, sift the 2 cups of self-raising flour. Just like this, through the sieve. We're going to fold in the flour and alternate with the milk, but I'm not really going to fold it in. I'm going to keep the mixer going at that low speed. Folding is just when you put it in very gradually. Being lazy is what I'm doing, I'm sorry. Alright. So the best way to do this, in with a bit, 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 in with a bit. It's like playing tennis, but without all the egos involved, I suppose. Alright, mix it about. When that's all through, we are going to get that pan that we got earlier and handy pink spatula, because handy pink spatula is my awesome friend for the kitchen. Just make sure you haven't got any lumps in it. Look at that, that's looking so good. And we haven't even cooked it yet. Alright, perfect, look at that. Give it a quick whip for 30 seconds. Fantastic. Alright, here we go. Tap it just so we make sure that we don't have any flour left around the outside. Okay, come closer. Whip, not that close. Alright, into our bowl. And once you've got the rind off the orange, do not get rid of the orange. We need the juice for the icing. Alright, we're whacking this in. This is so good. Sometimes the simple things, like old-fashioned orange cake, are the best things. Just so you know. You want to impress people for like a little afternoon tea or something, just say, hey, look what I made a cake. Alright, grab a tray to put that on. We are going to cook this for about 45 minutes. Now my oven is special, as we know, so I'm going to keep it at the 180, but I'm going to cook it for 40 minutes. Alright, we're going to be back to ice it. Okay, I may have accidentally forgot to look at it, but that is definitely done. It's not burnt. It's just, let's say it's perfect. Alright, so leave that to cool for about 5 minutes in that pan, and then pop it onto that a wire rack. As you can see, I've got one behind it. And leave it cool for a little bit, and then we're going to make the orange frosting to go on top of it. So I will be back shortly. Bye. Okay, so it is out of the oven on our wire rack to cool, and we're going to make some frosting, which is basically really just going to be 1 cup of icing sugar mixture sifted and 2 tablespoons of orange juice approximately, just so we can make it into a nice paste. So we're going to bring it over to the other side of the kitchen, ready for a flying cake. Woo! Cakes can't fly, by the way. Don't believe that for a second. Alright, let's come over this side of the kitchen. Woo! Alrighty, so I'm just making my morning cup of teas, which I normally have. It's afternoon, it's getting close to hospital visiting time, and I still have a few things that I need to do before I go hospital visiting, so I need to hurry, but I don't want to hurry today. Okay, this cake smells really good, by the way. For a simple cake, it smells so good. We're also going to need a knife because there's a good reason for that. We need to cut the orange. Okay, so grab your icing sugar mixture. We want 1 cup. So we're going to need a spoon. When you're measuring out something that you're probably going to make a mess with, my good recommendation is to sit it over the sieve. That way, if you make a mess, who cares? You're sifting it anyway, right? You're sifting your mess. Bit more. Now you want a good palette / spreading knife for this one. Probably the one that I use to separate it from the base of this pan. While it was bloody hot still. So when you get something out of the oven, you want to let it cool in its pan for a little while first, so that it can start to keep that shape. If you take it out straight away, it might decide that it doesn't want to be in that shape. I haven't tried it, and I don't recommend you do. So best to just stick with what we know. As you can see, we have a beautiful shaped cake. I've only lined the base of it, so that worked good for me. So I'm just going to do this. I'm thinking I might, just thinking out loud, I might take some of this for my mum for when I see her in hospital. I don't know if it's going to be a good idea or not. Maybe we can share cake together for Christmas. I think that's what I'll do. It's not Christmas cake, but it's about spending time with her. And I love cake. I don't know if she will be able to eat this cake, but if I don't take any and I tell her about it, she might get a bit, where's my cake? So, worst comes to worst, I suppose I have another piece cut for later. Alright, so that's sifted perfectly. Cut the orange and squeeze it. We want approximately 2 tablespoons of orange juice. This looks a really juicy orange. I love juicy oranges, which means I get a bit of orange juice later. Yay, feel the health coming through. God, I feel so unhealthy. But with everything else that's going on, I'm only 50% important at the moment. Alright, grab that teaspoon. If you think you need more juice, chuck some more juice in. But as you can see, we have a nice frosting there. We want it thick, we don't want a thin frosting. Oh, yum. There's something so nice about orange cake. It's just the smell of the orange is just so delicious. Just makes you feel, yeah, really nice. So grab that palette knife that we had earlier, tip it over. Probably didn't make as much as I wanted it to, you know. It's not a very thick frosting at all. Oh well. And no, it's got nothing to do with the cake being... Cake's not really that warm anymore. Anyway. Please enjoy this cake. Enjoy it with your family, your friends, and spend as much time with your family and friends as you can, because you'll regret it. Okay, thanks for watching Cooking with Violet Vixen. I'm going to be back very soon because we need to cook one more thing. My lunch. Alright, see you soon.